Hi everyone, welcome to Discover Interior Design. I'm interior designer Carol Gilman, and I'm so glad you're here. So welcome to my 1 year on YouTube anniversary question and answer video. And I put out a post to see if you have any design questions for me, to thank you for helping to grow my channel and helping to support me in this fun new adventure. So I want to thank you so much. I received so many wonderful comments on my videos, and I'm glad that you enjoy the channel. It means a lot to me. So I received 3 wonderful questions, and it's kind of cool because we're going to talk about 3 different topics. We'll be covering lighting, ceiling height, and also style and theme. So let's get started. So let me read the first question that I have, and it says, "Great generosity. How to illuminate elderly house, please?" So this is a really great question, and lighting is so important in our homes. We want to make sure that we can see everything really easily, but at the same time, we also want to make sure that it looks and feels comfortable to us. So let me give you a couple ideas about what to think about for lighting for older adults in your home. So one thing I would keep in mind is making sure the lighting in your home is adjustable or flexible. And that means, having a variety of different types of lighting in your home, in each room. We want to have overall lighting to make sure that we can see everything really easily and that it provides a nice, comfortable light to every room, but also that it's providing some shadow so we can kind of see shape and form and just some nice overall lighting. But the other type of lighting that we want to make sure we have is what we refer to as task lighting. So lighting that is more directed at a certain task. So, if we want to sit on a sofa and read a book or read a newspaper, we want to make sure that we have lighting nearby, maybe a table lamp or a floor lamp that provides more direct light onto what it is we're reading. Or even in a kitchen, we want to make sure there's overall lighting in the kitchen, but also more focused lighting, making sure there's enough lighting on the counter or underneath the counter where the cabinets are, where there's focused lighting so we can, concentrate on preparing food. And then the other part of adjustability is making sure we can adjust the light in a room. Say even natural lighting, having window coverings that we can filter out some light or totally completely close off, the light maybe in a sunny morning window, making sure that we can adjust the lighting in the room so it's not too light and too bright. And the other thing to think about are just even wall switches, to have some flexibility on a wall switch where you could adjust the lightness and brightness of the light, as well as on table lamps or floor lamps where, sometimes it's nice to have those 3-way switches where you can turn on the light and then turn it up again to a lighter brightness, and then of course turn it off. And then the other thing to keep in mind is accessibility, making sure that all of the ways that we do adjust lighting is accessible. So for instance, if you have a window that has the sun coming in the morning, making sure that the window coverings, the blinds, the curtains are easy to access to be able to adjust the light that's coming in. And the same with wall switches or even a table lamp, making sure there isn't anything blocking access to turning off that light switch. No furniture in front of the light switch on the wall, or easy access to reach under a lamp to easily turn it off. And then in addition to adjustability and accessibility, we also want to think about 2 other things. One is glare, light glare. And light glare is not great for anyone, but especially for older adults. One thing we want to check on in our home is, are there any areas that provide light glare? And that could be as simple as a bare light bulb. And maybe that's just shining through the top of a lampshade, and we walk into a room and we can see that. And that is not great for being able to see everything in the room when there's a glare. Or maybe it's being reflected off of a surface. So lighting is being reflected off a surface that's kind of shiny and it's too much glare to be able to see everything really well. So kind of check those things out in your home and kind of take note of that and make some adjustments if that's happening. And then the other thing to keep in mind are flooring transitions. So what I mean by that is when there's a difference between different materials, types of floorings, that could be moving from one room to another or even within one room where you have maybe a wood floor and then there's an area rug, or wood floor and then there's a carpet. And any type of difference in elevation or different types of materials, we want to make sure that we can see all of that really easily. And one thing to keep in mind is we want some overall lighting, but also we want that lighting to provide shadows so that we can see, contrast between lightness and darkness. And the shadows help us see, even if it is just a slight elevation change, that we see that when we're moving around in a room or moving around into another room. So I hope that gave you some ideas of things to think about for lighting for older adults. And so the next question I have is, hi Carol, I have a design question which I hope you can help with. We moved from a house with the 8-foot high ceilings into a townhome with 10-foot high ceilings, kitchen and dining room, and a sloped ceiling in the living room. A loft with a railing overlooks the living room. So we have some really tall expanses of living room wall. One side wall has stairs going straight up to the loft, 15 steps, and the opposite side is just as high, maybe 22 to 24 feet high. Do you have any advice on what looks best in a living room with such high ceilings? Thanks. So that's a really great question. And, having us think about how the ceiling height, how high a room is, really does affect how that room looks and feels. And, having high ceilings in a room creates a really spacious and even you mentioned expansive effect in how that room looks and feels. And that can be really dramatic and super exciting. So I would recommend for you to kind of step back and think about how you really do want that room to look and feel. And there are kind of two main ways you could go. There are many different options, but there are two main ways that come to my mind. One option is where you want to have this light and airy and spacious look and feel to the room. You want to kind of almost celebrate the height of the ceiling and the spaciousness of that entire room. And that will take you in a certain direction. Maybe that means painting the walls lighter colors, and the rest of your furnishings are kind of playing up on that lightness, with some lighter tones, maybe some variation in some darker tones or mid-tones, but everything all flows together. There's this overall spaciousness and lightness and brightness to that room. And that really would kind of take you in a certain direction if you want the room to kind of have that overall spaciousness look and feel. And then the other way you could go is, do you like more contrast? Do you like to have things that have more lightness and darkness and different directions of lines and where things are kind of broken up a little bit more? And if you like things like that, then that will take you in a certain direction where you could use darker and lighter colors in your furnishings, where you could possibly even paint your walls in a deeper color, or even break up the walls, paint one of the walls a different color than the rest of the walls. Or, depending on other architectural features in that room, maybe painting the trim or even the railing a different color and kind of repeating that in certain places. And it kind of just helps to break things up a little bit. So that's what I would recommend for you, because it really depends on what is the look and feel that you want for that room? And then that's going to give you guidelines on what will work in that space. And then the other thing that's super important when we are designing and decorating any room in our home is really just thinking about all of our furnishings. Whether you have high ceilings or not, we still want to focus our energies on creating, nice seating arrangements in the living room and having artwork on the wall and bringing all of that together, because that's where we're living. We're living, sitting on the sofa and enjoying conversations. And so we want to make sure we take time to space plan, making sure we use that entire space really well and bringing variety and cohesiveness to that space so that you create a nice room where you enjoy hanging out. So I hope that was helpful, just to kind of step back and think about what the look and feel is that you want in your space, and then using that as a guide to the direction of how you will decorate the space and bring it all together so that you can really enjoy it. So this last question is a comment on my video, How to Make Design Decisions. And she writes, "Hi Carol, this is a great video. My question would be admitting that I rarely have a strong opinion on items in my home, which lends it to be overly eclectic. Do you have any tips on how to stay focused on a theme? Thanks." So this is another great question, and we're talking about style and theme. And one thing I'm kind of noticing in this comment is that probably we could call her style an eclectic style, because it sounds like to me that she has a variety of different things in her home that she uses to decorate her home. And that's eclectic style, where you have a variety of different things, a variety of different influences. Say you love New York City and you love gardening and maybe you love the tropics, and you just bring in all of those different influences into your home because those are things that you really enjoy. And you may not have a specific one that you love more than the other. You just kind of love all of them. And, over time, you may even bring in more different types of influences that you love. And I love the eclectic style because we are always a mixture of different experiences in our life, and our home is a great way to kind of express that. So one thing I would recommend is to not worry about that you don't have one theme going on in a room. Because when we're talking about themes and, a theme versus a style has to do kind of with, the look and feel that you want in a room. And a theme is much more specific. It's almost like a category. We can think of, tropical theme, or, we want a cute dinosaur theme in our child's bedroom. And all of the items and all of the furnishings, everything in that room would shout out, dinosaur theme or tropical theme. It's very specific. So one recommendation I would give you is to don't worry about that you just have one type of theme or one of your influences is the main theme throughout your home or throughout a room. That it's wonderful to be eclectic and to bring in a variety of different influences, because that is just much more interesting. And then another thing that came to my mind is sometimes there can be a look and feel that everything feels disconnected a little bit. And that just means coming in and creating a more cohesive look. And we can do that through pattern and line and all different sorts of design elements. But one element, color, is an easy way to create a cohesive look and feel to a room. And, color on our walls. We can use just a nice background, neutral color in all of our home or throughout a whole room, just to kind of create some sort of background, some sort of backdrop to all of these different elements that are going on in the room. And then another way to use color to create a cohesive look is really repeating color. Because you have all these different types of things going on in the room, Choosing a color too that you can repeat throughout the room will help tie everything together. So you could choose a color maybe from a piece of artwork, using that color maybe on an accent wall, but then repeating it again in throw pillows or even on curtains. And just by repeating all those things, all of that helps to tie everything together and kind of connect everything and to help create a cohesive look. So I hope that was helpful to you when you do have an eclectic style, when you have different styles and themes going on in a room, and how to use color to help tie it all together. So I'd love to find out from you if you have anything else that we can add to this conversation on these different topics. So please share your design ideas and suggestions in the comments. And thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.